right, I'm going to solve the first question on the proportions assignment for us. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just rewrite the question here. So the order tells us that we're going to give 500 milligrams. And we look at the little bottle, we call this on hand. We see that we have 325 milligrams in every one tablet. So our first step is that we want to understand what we're solving for. So we have milligrams here equals nothing, and we have 325 milligrams equals one tablet. So if I think this through, I'm gonna take that little bottle of medication and I'm gonna try to give somebody 500 milligram tablets, or 500 milligrams, and I'm gonna do so by figuring, by pulling tablets out of the bottle. So what I'm looking for is tablets. I'm gonna go ahead and write this out as step number one is figuring out what we're searching for. This step keeps me straight, especially as questions get a little bit more complicated. This is just a one-step question, but as you move through this program, you'll get 2 or 3 step questions, and it makes it a little bit more easier to solve them if you keep this all in one place. So I call this little purple part that I'm writing here, I call it my information parking lot. You notice that I'm going to use question mark for my variable. So this actually is a little bit of algebra, but I use question mark because oftentimes people see X or Y or Z or whatever algebra letter is chosen, and we get a little bit nervous because we know that's algebra. So I use something like a question mark. You can use a star, you can use a smiley face emoji, whatever makes sense to you to use right there that doesn't scare you. Question marks make it easier for me. The next step is that I'm going to take my proportions and set them equal to each other in fraction form. So I have 500 milligrams is I don't know how many tablets. And that's equal to, there's 325 milligrams in every one tablet. So at this step, you just need to make sure that you keep your like symbols in the same place. So because I have milligrams on top here, I need to have milligrams on top here. Because I have tablets on the bottom here, I need to have tablets on the bottom here. It doesn't matter which ones you put where, as long as you keep it the same on both sides of the equal sign. So if I wrote this the other way with tablets on top, it would be okay as long as I wrote tablets on top on this side also. The next step is to cross multiply. Sorry, I want to try to keep this red so I always know what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. When I do math, medical math, I always write these circles so that I keep straight what I'm multiplying and I don't mess it up in just simple, easy mistakes that are often made. So I'm going to multiply 500 times 1 equals 325 times question mark. I'm going to go ahead and do this simple multiplication. So 500 times 1 is 500. 325 times question mark is 325 question mark. And then my next step, step 4, is that I'm going to solve for question mark. And the rules of math tell us that to get question mark by itself, to have the answer say this equals question mark, we have to do the opposite of what is happening here. So right here we're multiplying 325 times question mark. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this by 325. Because I did it on this side of the equal sign, I have to divide this side of the equal sign by 325. Rules of math. And then this comes to 500 divided by 325 equals, when we have 325 divided by 325, that gives us 1. So this equals question mark. And then I can go a little bit further. So 500 divided by 325, the answer is 1.56 and some change, equals question mark. But we have to think that we're doing medical math. And so if I'm taking tablets, maybe it looks like this. Maybe it looks like this. And I'm going to give 1.56 to somebody. 1 is easy. I give the whole tablet. 0.5 is easy because I could give like this. But I couldn't give 0.56 because there's no way for me to make sure that I'm perfectly getting that 0.56. I might give them too much. I might give them too little. So what we do, too little is not that big of a deal, but too much can be a serious deal depending on the medication. So in medical math, what we're going to do is we're just going to forget about this one. We're not going to round it. We're not going to estimate it. We're just going to drop it off. So our answer is going to be that we give 1.5 tablets equals question mark.